The other day I covered the first half of Nzxt's new launch, their Function 2 keyboards. Today we're looking at the second half, their new mice dubbed Lift 2. Stay tuned and I'll tell you all about them after this quick sponsor message. If you're fed up with the high costs from the Microsoft Office suite or incompatibility and formatting problems from trying alternative solutions, then look no further than Truly Office. Truly Office offers software for document processing, spreadsheets and slides for both Windows and Mac, with cloud support, seamless integration, regular updates and data privacy protection as standard. With lifetime licenses and affordable options for students, business users and whole households, Truly Office is a fantastic, affordable, one-time purchase alternative to the competitors. It's also backed with tons of 5-star reviews and with 24/7 support, and like Kelly Rowland, you're not going to be left on spread. Visit the link in the description box to learn more and use code ASH15 at checkout to save an additional 15%. Nzxt's Lift 2 range now has two models, unlike the first generation single ambidextrous model. We have the Ergo, which as you can guess is a more ergonomically designed mouse for a right-handed palm grip, and then the Symm, which is much like the first generation's design in a symmetrical style for various hand sizes, ideal for claw and fingertip grips. Let's go over the main specs of the mice and I'll cover the other details as we go. The Lift 2 mice again are both wired with a 2-meter braided matched cable, and they also use an 8000Hz polling rate with the PWM 3395 sensor, giving a maximum of 26,000 dpi over the 1000Hz polling PWM 3389 sensor and 16 dpi on the original. They're also compatible with NVIDIA Reflex and available in both black and white. Like the Function 2 keyboards, the Lift 2 mice now also use optical switches with a whopping 100 million click lifespan. They're also lighter than the first generation, with the Ergo weighing 60 grams and the Symm at 58, a tad lighter than the original 67. It does sacrifice some RGB though, something you may or may not be worried about. Both mice have got thumb buttons on the left, but none on the right, something which may be a downside for those looking to use the Symm as a left-handed mouse. Also on each side there's some texture to help grip, which I found to work very well. Moving to the front of the mice for the left and right click, both have got a very low travel into the click engages, so there's nothing to worry about if you need to use these mice with cat-like responses. The top of the clicks have got more texture than the last generation too. The original was smooth with a slightly rubbery feel, but the new Lift 2 has more of a PBT keycap kind of feel. So although this has more grip than the previous generation, some competitive players may still feel that it's still not enough. Moving on to the scroll wheels, although visually the same once the colour change, they seem to be a little bit different. The Symm has a smoother scroll wheel with a lighter feeling and sounding click, whereas the Ergo has a little bit more tactileness to it and also has a more solid feeling and clunk when pressed. I'll also have sound samples for these in a minute if you're wondering. Above the scroll wheel is the standard DPI adjustment button. The presets are 400, 800, 1600, 3200 and 6400. You can also change this in cam to be a profile switch button if you'd prefer. On the underside you can see why these mice are so light. It's like a NASCAR shout over a chassis. Not all people are a fan of the honeycomb design either, so I think this is a good way to do it. There's not much to talk about here beside the sensor and then the PTFE feet to help the mouse glide. The base of the mouse is set very far into the shell, so the clearance is very low, but nothing that I found to be an issue. For those of you that are wondering about the sound of these buttons, here's the sound test. The new Lift 2 mice sound a little bit louder than the previous version, but it doesn't have a solid bottom to the mouse, so it will be slightly amplified. Moving on to cam, here we'll find adjustments for the DPI. You can adjust from 50 up to the huge 26,000 DPI in 50-step increments. Change the polling rate between 125 to 8000 Hz. And a quick side note, if you do want to use the 8000 Hz polling, you will need to engage it first. This is to prevent incompatibility with older systems, as some PCs don't like running it. You can also set the lift-off distance from 1mm or 2mm, remap buttons, program macros and create profiles to save all of your custom settings. So before I give you my thoughts about the pricing, both the Ergo and the Symm will be retailing for $49.99 or $52.99 in the UK, and I think that price is a good value for what the Lift 2 mice offer. I've been leaning towards the Ergo, even though I do have bigger hands. I can use it without any issues at all. The 8000Hz polling, Pixar 3395 sensor and then the 100 million click lifespan are fantastic features to see on a mouse at this price. It's a good job there, Nzxt. I think some users would like to see buttons on the right hand side of the mice, at least for the Symm. There will be some users that want to flip over the mouse clicks to use it left-handed, but without some thumb clicks in that mode, they'll likely look elsewhere. The lack of the RGB that the original Lift had is a bit of a Marmite issue. You either love it or you hate it, but for those of you that crave the lightest mouse possible, you'll be glad to shed those precious grams. I think the sacrifice is well worth it, and much like the Function 2 keyboards, these have got a lot of upgrades, making them a substantial upgrade from the original, and all for just $3 more. If you have any more questions, then please leave them in the comments box below and I'll get back to you. The links for these will be in the description if you want to pick one up. If you enjoyed the video and you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ding the bell. Thanks to Nzxt for sending these out for me to review. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.